Hello everybody, welcome to my series of videos about all Chopin's music for piano. Today we don't have a good mood. We don't have a music that will make us feel happy. Today we have in fact a heartbreaking piece of music. Nocturne in C minor. Nocturne which has no opus number and Nocturne which was never published during Chopin's life, and I would even dare to say that it was not even finished fully. At least it was not polished. Maybe the idea was finished. Well, those of you who know me very well, who are with me from the beginning of this huge project of these YouTube videos about Chopin's music, the project that started during COVID times, exactly I would say 3 years ago, maybe even more, around April, May 2020. The project in which I analyzed nearly all of Chopin's music. I made more than 350 videos because they are both in Polish, and another video like this one is in English. Those of you who know me from that time, you know that this piece is one of the last pieces that I haven't analyzed yet, and some of you were asking me about it. I know I made you wait for so long, but this had a purpose. Well, a purpose. I would say there was a reason for that, and the reason was inside me. I just had no idea how to make this analysis for you. This piece is undoubtedly for me the hardest, the most difficult to analyze of all that I did. Probably because it's not finished, and also because it's one of his last pieces. We don't exactly know when it was written. Let's start from this question, because it is very mysterious. In my source commentary to my edition, which is the National Chopin Jan Ekier edition, Urtext edition, very good edition, in the source commentary we read as follows, and I quote: "There is disagreement over the date this nocturne was composed. The following factors suggest that it was written during the last period of Chopin's life." And now we have three factors. The fact that two of its manuscripts come from the legacy transferred to the Bibliothèque Nationale de Paris of the Rothschilds. Rothschilds is the name of the aristocracy in France, and Chopin, with Rothschilds, Chopin did not come into contact until after his arrival in Paris. So that's for sure that this piece was not written in Warsaw. It's not an early piece of Chopin. The second factor: the type of manuscript paper, my friends, mostly used by Chopin in the years 1845-1846. So these are years when Chopin was writing his last pieces of music. The third factor: graphic details of Chopin's script. Some details of his handwriting probably. This is not, I'm not a Chopin detective, I'm not this kind of guy, so we have to trust those people. They spend half of their life probably to analyze all those manuscripts, and we have to trust them. We have no other choice. But feeling the spirit of Chopin while writing this piece, we can easily agree that it was when he had probably the hardest or the most depressive period of his life, which was definitely his last years, maybe even last year, or maybe shortly after he broke up with Georges Sand. There is a lot of open questions. And I still have a lot of open questions. I will, of course, talk about it today. I will try to explain to you with simple words, like I always do, what we actually have inside this. But you also can have your own ideas, and I love actually your comments below my video. I read all of them. I try to answer all of you, as you know, because I love to have contact with you and to have feedback. Many of you can write a very beautiful poetic descriptions of what you see in the certain pieces of music of Chopin. Your comments enrich these videos. I love them. So feel free and write what you think. Probably many of you play this nocturne if you play the piano, because this nocturne is even played by young kids, 7, 8, 9 years old. Although I think that, of course, they have their own problems in this age, but I'm not so sure if they can really transmit the true feeling of the artist who wrote this music. But I'm not saying that it's impossible. I mean that it's forbidden for them to play it. Of course, they can play it very beautifully. Well, probably I am now at the age of Chopin when he wrote this piece. And this is also very special for me to make this analysis for you this time, because certainly with my age now, well, my mentality is quite similar to his, right, when he wrote, because, well, that's obvious. But of course we had very different lives, completely different surrounding history and everything. Okay, let's start. But before we start, let's ask the first open question. Is it really a nocturne? What do we hear here? What strikes us the most is the rhythm, which is tam pa pam pa pam pam. You know, tam pa pam. Rhythm, long, short, long, short, long. But this is not really what I'm thinking of when I play this nocturne. I mean, not really funeral march. But I can't stop thinking about the Polish patriotic songs, that we have so many of them, and most of them are written in this rhythm. This is the rhythm that Chopin was using when he wanted to express his patriotism, when he was thinking about Poland. And I will give you a few examples. The first example, well, do we have nocturnes, and how many of them that have this kind of rhythm? Not so many. One of the greatest examples that I can give you is, of course, the famous nocturne written more or less at the same time, maybe a little earlier, Nocturne in F minor, opus 55. Right? If we do this Nocturne C minor in F minor, let's listen to how it was end. Right? That is in a way the same. Anyway, why I'm doing this in F minor? To compare. right? Quite similar. But another thought that came to my mind is that we have a very similar character and melody, I would say, in another masterpiece of Chopin, which is deeply patriotic. And maybe you already know what I want to play for you now. Fantasy in F minor, Opus 49. And now listen to this. Well, open question. But the pieces actually that I think this nocturne is the most connected with are Chopin's Mazurkas. And now my first theory that I want to share with you, because I'm sure you are here to get to know my theories, right, and what I think about it. My theory, one of my theories, is that this is simply a sketch of Chopin's state of mind in the moment. This is a sketch in a way. Chopin is talking to himself. Chopin is writing his own diary. He's expressing his feelings. And now, my friends, question for you, which you probably know the answer. Which genre of Chopin's music was exactly the same? Was his musical diary, was witnesses of his states of mind. Mazurkas, of course, Mazurkas, and we can find dozens of Mazurkas which reminds and which sounds very similar to this nocturne. So in a way, for me, this nocturne is a kind of mazurka, but in 4. Well, I want to share with you mazurkas that I think are the closest to this one. What the one that I think is the closest, in my opinion, you can have different opinion, is this one. This one. And let's compare. Excuse me. Mazurka Opus 33, number 1. There are plenty, there are a lot of them. Even in early Chopin we have the Mazurka. And you can, I encourage you to go through Mazurkas, to go through nocturnes, to find pieces that are quite similar. This is important for us because we need to solve this mystery. In my opinion, this nocturne is a big mystery. Okay, now let's start the analysis. So the most important thing, we are all waiting for that, so let's go. here we also have a lot of questions, and there is much more ways of analyze this piece and of talking about structure of this piece than I will show you today. I will show you the version that in my opinion is the closest to the reality and is the closest to me. Looking at the score very deeply, like I always do, and thinking about the whole thing. But of course, maybe you will not agree, maybe you find something else. This is absolutely okay with me. That's going to be a very subjective episode of my videos. First of all, I want to show you the beginning of this nocturne. I hope you can see that. Look at the slurs that we have here. The slurs are cutting the phrase into very, very short motifs, and they are connected with one another in a kind of question-answer energy. What do I mean? Question. And now another motif, answer. Question. Answer. And that's the first antecedent phrase, the first phrase, the question. Antecedent. I forgot how to pronounce this word. It's a very complicated word. It comes from musicology. You know, the whole period in music, one period, consists of two sentences. So let's call it the first sentence on the musical period. That's much easier. Anyway, do you agree? There is another way of understanding this, but I don't want to think like that, because Chopin himself with his own hand didn't write longer slurs. But if we consider this as a one melody, then we have the answer here. It sounds okay, it sounds convincing, but I have a strong feeling that this is exactly not what Chopin wanted. Also by writing the slurs and by what I see in the next in this nocturne. So in a way, maybe for you this analysis will be something different, something new, something that will enrich your perspective of seeing this piece. I do hope so. So coming back to my analysis, question. The scale going up, right? And then answer, full of suffering and pain. Very simple, but... And then question again. In a way, this is connected with the first one. And the conclusion, which in my opinion is not finished. Not polished, I mean. This is the typical Chopin's embellishment, let's call it like this, a beautiful word. Make a variation of something. Instead of, for example, instead of writing like this, we have to. But still, my friends, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I think that this is not a very successful embellishment. If we know Chopin and if we know his embellishments that he used in pieces that he published, they are finished. They are finished. They are polished. the greatest piece of embellishment is, of course, his Berceuse, you know. You know this piece, so there is so many embellishments, but I found Mazurka, which has exactly the same idea here. And if we compare this embellishment in this Mazurka, Opus 17, number 4, I'm sorry, dear Nocturne in C minor, but you have no chance. But I'm not really sorry. I think Chopin agrees with me. I think Chopin will tell me, tell to us, I didn't finish this piece. Come on, don't criticize me because this is just a sketch. I'm pretty sure that's the truth. But let's listen to this embellishment to prove my words. So, of course, you know this Mazurka. Right? And then we have the variations. Sorry. And now this is so beautiful. And now, what is the idea? The idea is to go from this note to this note. And we can do it in thousands ways. Right? We can do it in... Chopin had probably many ideas. He wrote... The next time when it appears, he wrote even more beautiful. And you know this piece, so you know what I'm talking about. It's so fantastically written. It's really polished. It's colored. It's not a sketch. It's a finished piece. We don't know how it looked at the beginning, but now if we compare this to this, I don't know about you, but I have the impression that Chopin just wrote this embellishment with thinking that when I will polish this piece, when I finish, then I will make it different. I will make it more sophisticated, let's say. He probably had no time or no power or no health to finish this piece, so it was left like this. That's my personal opinion. I don't know if it's true. That's another open question. But let's continue our analysis. Then after these 4 bars we have everything repeated. Answer. Question. And conclusion. Answer. And that's the first musical period. Then this period is repeated. The same. The first sentence is exactly the same. Another example for me that this is such a sketch is that here we have exactly the same version of the embellishment, which Chopin never did. He always was changing his embellishments. And the final sentence of the second period is finally different. What happens here? Instead of we have freedom. I'm normal, but this is like freedom. Before we were caged. We were, you know, we couldn't move. We feel that we cannot go up. We always go down. 1 time, 2nd time, 3rd time. Finally, the 4th time. We took a deep breath, and then the end. This is the first part, part A, let's call it. This this moment of freedom is very symbolic, in my opinion. This is something that Chopin must have thought of deeply. I mean, he must have thought about it quite a lot and make a symbol out of it. And now what we have next? We should have the middle section, maybe. Let's listen. That's what I just played for you. Is an explosion of suffering. It's an explosion of pain. It's moaning. And answer. Again, explosion. And answer. Motivically, so I mean the musically, this comes from the ending of part A. So just the ending what we've heard after freedom. And now listen. We have the scale going down. And the conclusion. And now we have the scale going down. And very similar conclusion. Again. And conclusion. So it's in a way connected. So now what is this? In my opinion, this is a bridge. That's what I came. It came to my mind after months and months of asking questions and trying to find the answer. As I said at the beginning of this video, it was very difficult for me. That was the main reason why I made this analysis just now. I didn't dare to make it earlier. Because of the responsibility of these videos also. Anyway, why the bridge? Because now we have something else. And now listen to the next episode, the next part. What was that? Now, yeah, this is a question not easy to answer. And now I want to show you what came to my mind recently. It came to my mind just before I recorded this Nocturne on my CD with all Chopin pieces for the piano. As you know, I'm recording, I have this huge project now of recording all Chopin's music for piano. There will be 13 CDs and I do it chronologically. And I already recorded 2 last CDs. So this is also recorded. And so this CDs, if you want, of course, you can order. I can send it to you if you want. But going back to this, imagine, can you believe, just before recording, about 1 or 2 weeks when I was very intensely working on this piece before recording, to record it with deep understanding, I found here something incredible, something that proves that this piece can be a kind of Chopin's experiment of creating a new musical language, of going one step higher. What do I mean by that? This seems like a completely new material in a way. course, we have some reminiscence of from the ending of part A, and this was my beginning, thinking, oh, this is very similar, but what is really this? What this really is? What is this? And one day I started to compare this to part A, and then my eyes opened, my soul opened, my heart opened, and I couldn't believe in what I see. And I started to understand, in my opinion, of course, Chopin's mind and Chopin's philosophy and his idea. What, in my opinion, is this idea? In my opinion, this part that we hear now is part A prime, A1. Chopin is writing a very sophisticated variation of part A. And now I want you to follow me with this comparison. We will compare these short motifs, and I did the same before, and now I want to do it with you. So, the first motif of the beginning of the piece. Question. This is the variation, in my opinion, of this. Then we have the answer in part A. The answer here. Now, part A, the next question. This variation. And now, in part A, we had this. And here we have, of course, it's in a different key, but it works. Let's listen. Beginning. Question, answer. Question, answer. And now part A1. Question, answer. Question, answer. And now Chopin repeats that again with variations. So beautiful these variations are. I will compare part A1, the first sentence with the second sentence. So the first, and now we have it like this. And now the second part we had like this. And now we have. And the final conclusion. We have like this. This is Chopin. This is Chopin. He is changing. He is making variations. So beautiful. So wonderful. And now, what happens next? Listen to this. Sorry. And that's unfortunately the end. This is what we have here. We finally have a smile in Chopin's face. For the first time in this nocturne, a man who is crying, moaning, suffering, who is in pain, who hates his life, who is depressed, who is expressing his bad state of mind, is smiling. We have major key, A flat major. It's a little bit about love, I would say. But this is only 4 bars. This could be part B. This could be the middle part of the nocturne. As you know, Chopin usually wrote nocturnes in A-B-A structure. It could have been, but it's too short. It has only 4 bars. Immediately after that we have this bridge, the suffering bridge of moans, the moaning bridge, I call it. Why? Now, why he is not continuing this major section and make this nocturne so short? Another open question. Do you want to know my answer? Well, my answer is that it can be also symbolic, that Chopin has absolutely no inspiration of writing something in major, that he has absolutely no inspiration writing something warm and about love, that all he is thinking about is death, or how terrible his life was and is, how lonely he is, and all his friends died already, and how far away he's from his family. We all know this. This state of mind that this nocturne creates, depressive very. So he writes the middle part, but only 4 bars, and then he's immediately coming back to his real state of mind. This is one of the answers. Another answer is that he simply had no power to continue writing this. Maybe he wanted to later to make it bigger, longer, different. That was just the idea that he wrote. Who knows? And then after that we have, as I said, we have the bridge. And we have part A1, the same. Answer. And repeat it with the variations, the same like before. Answer. And the end. And this is the end. Is it really the end? Yes, it is. But so now I want to share with you my problems that I had with this piece. My fundamental problems that I had with this nocturne. The reason why I didn't dare to make analysis of this piece for you. That I struggled so much to understand it was that the beginning of the piece, the first theme, never appears again, never comes again. And we only have one nocturne in the whole Chopin's nocturnes, I think, that that doesn't have it. The one nocturne, let's find it. Maybe some of you, my fantastic audience, maybe you know what nocturne is this. This is Nocturne Opus 15 number 3, which this right, this in a way never happens, never comes back. But all the other nocturnes, we always have A prime. If I'm mistaken, let me know. But I think it is not normal. So I was thinking, why we have no, what happened? And I almost had the theory that he just didn't finish the piece, which might be true, of course. Maybe he wanted to come back to the beginning later. Maybe he wanted to make it bigger. Maybe he was thinking about writing another masterpiece nocturne, the one that he wrote, Opus 62. Maybe he was thinking about new versions of variations like I showed you now. This is absolutely, in my opinion, something extraordinary, something absolutely incredible. The thing that how A and A1 is connected. But when I found this connection of A and A1, then everything started to make sense. Then suddenly this nocturne has the ABA structure, but B is way too short. Way too short, just like Chopin's life was way too short. So I will play for you now, because I think that's the end of today's video. I will play for you now this nocturne in its entirety, and I will be your guide to show you more or less where we are, even though I think it is now clear what my idea of this piece is. But let's listen again. Part A. Repeat it. And now this is the final part with the freedom, kind of. Bridge. Now part A1. Question. Answer. Question. Answer. Question. Answer. Question. And answer. Now part B. The sun is shining. Smile. And bridge. Part A1. Repeat it. That's the end of this episode. Thank you very much for watching until now, and thanks for your support and for being here, because it's for you that I'm making these videos. All the best and see you again in my next videos. Bye bye.